All right, rise and join me in the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Join me in a moment of silent prayer. Thank you. All right, we will call this meeting to order. Uh-oh, I lost something.
It's your cat.
Thank you. It is, we will call this, are there any visitors' remarks concerning the agenda?
Before you get to that, I'd like to make some Sunshine Act violation notices that I believe have happened.
We will so note them in the record. So you can get those notices to our chief clerk and they'll be noted in the record.
Notices now, so I won't. No executive session or discussion in the public meeting about the sale of the property at 12 Mix Avenue. I believe an executive session must have happened and the commissioners didn't want us to know about it. A job listing was put out March 11th for the library director position, and the job details removed all mention of the employee reporting to the library board. I believe this appears to be we've already decided to dissolve this board, so there is no reason to include it in the job details. But commissioners are not permitted to discuss in private the dissolving of a board outside of public meetings. I also believe that changing a job's description without discussing it beforehand in public is a violation as well. It can't be considered a currently existing position if you are changing the requirements of the position in a meaningful way, at least in my opinion. And at the January 23rd meeting, a new human services pay rank was created, but advertisement of the position went out the day before the meeting. No advertisement for that position could be put out to the public before the position was certain to be created. Thank you.
All right. Any other remarks concerning?
I want to know if you asked Leah Chiasm from the Library Systems Board any questions about the resolution 2025-04 to dissolve the Bradford County Library Advisory Board. Did you ask her anything about the codes, the library codes?
All right, your question will be answered. We will answer that, but all right.
Under Pennsylvania Code, Chapter 93, Title 24, Part 6, Libraries, Subsection B, Part 9302 defines county libraries as also a local library for further sections under Chapter 93. In addition, under Subsection B, Part 9318, it says a local library, as above, established under this chapter, Chapter 93, or the former act of June 14, 1961, known as the Library Code, shall be governed by a board of library directors. And goes on to say the board shall be composed of not fewer than 5 nor more than 7 members.
All right, thank you.
I would like to say something.
You've already had we're not going back and forth with this. This is not a back and forth.
Sunshine Act violations. I'm trying to make a visitor comment. Are you refusing to
Visitors comment regarding the agenda.
Yes. Yes.
You've already had
No, I have not.
Yes, you have.
No, I haven't.
Yes, you have.
You know I haven't.
Point of order,
Because you know the law.
Sunshine Act violation.
We're not getting into back and forth.
Are you telling me I'm not allowed to have visitor comments?
You've already had them.
No, I have not.
You had
No,
visitors'
I have
remarks
not.
concerning the agenda.
No, I have not.
Yes, you did.
No,
That's-
I have not.
Mr. Chairman, do we have any disruptions in the
Are you
meeting?
preventing me from having visitor comment period?
No,
On this.
you've already spoken regarding agenda items.
No, I have not.
Yes, you have.
Mr. Chairman, would it be beneficial to confer with our solicitor on how to proceed?
We are not going to get in the back and forth in these meetings. Like, it's just not going to happen, Mr.
Well,
Woods.
there's another Sunshine Act
Then you
violation.
so noted, and we're moving on.
You don't know what I'm about to say, so I need to say it. There's a Sunshine Act violation that you're not allowing visitors to engage in the visitor comment period before agenda items.
So noted, we're moving on.
I would like to make one comment. I've only been to one other commissioners meeting, but we were told we couldn't bring our cell phones in. But Mr. McLinko's sister-in-law and his good friend Ramos both had their phones out and were on it the whole time. So that policy must not apply to everybody, right?
Don't know, it's through the courts, you'd have to ask the judge. I certainly don't.
That's not a good answer. It's
Well, that
either
is the
a policy
answer.
that
Sheriff,
applies to
could you answer that
everybody,
question?
or it's not a policy.
So the policy is if you want to get a cell phone pass, which they could very well have, you got to go to court administration, request the pass, the courts issue it, it's good for 1 year.
So they did that.
I can't tell you that off the top of my head because I don't have the list. Court administration has the list. But yes, it's allowed in as long as you have that pass. Yep.
Mr. Chairman, I would prefer, just for my own accord, the opportunity to review with our solicitor what the policy is regarding the interplay between Sunshine Act violation allegations and public comment. So that would be my request.
All right.
You're still accepting visitor comments?
Regarding agenda items,
Yes. I would like to yield my time to Walter Woods.
that's, there's no yielding of time.
You limit it, right? You
To
limit
2
it
minutes.
2 minutes. Yes, I'd like to yield my time, my 2 minutes, to Mr. Walter Woods. You can't make arbitrary decisions. You either run by Robert's rules or you don't.
Mr. Chairman, again, I would respectfully ask for consultation with our solicitor on the interplay between Sunshine Act and public comment.
All right, we will recess for,
An executive session.
yep, for an executive session. All right, we will move back into the meeting. All right, Mr. Woods, you'll get your 2 minutes.
Thank you. This is about the Bradford County Library Board resolution. As others have stated, it does not appear to be legal for you to dissolve the board, and it would be a huge mistake to do so. Based upon your resolution, your resolution isn't accurate. There is still need for that board, even past what the state law requires. They're an advisory board to help you out with issues within the library, and considering you have fired the library director, you're putting out an application for a library director that is woefully inadequate at $20 an hour for a master's degree, and you just lost another employee who does many of the services within the library, having volunteers there able to help them, which some have been going in and helping out the library with various things, like children's time. Dissolving this board is just going to put more hardship on the library. And I would hope that's not your intention, is to destroy the library through these little nitpicks of things that you shouldn't be doing in the first place. And I would hope that you would reconsider this, especially considering it appears to be an illegal act under the Commonwealth law. Thank you.
All right, any other visitors or remarks concerning the agenda?
Matt Jennings, Leroy. First off, I love 4-H. I love 4-H week in Bradford County. Awesome. Speaking in support of the Bradford County Library Board, the commissioners of Bradford County have expressed concern in recent months as to the programming materials that could be presented to kids at the Bradford County Library, and the Library Advisory Board, I believe, is a check against any programming that might be contra to the community's values. So eliminating the advisory board, I feel, creates the problem that the commissioners say they're trying to avoid. No advisory board means no one's advising the librarian, which we don't have, on the materials and the programming at the library. It's creating the problem they're trying to solve. It's also a bit of a power grab. Now who advises the library on what they should get? The commissioners, kind of making a small government team seem like they're trying to consolidate power. It's a straw man belief that I haven't heard of any complaints about the advisory board. I haven't heard any complaints about the materials or programming at the library, and I worked at the newspaper for 2 years, covering the various library drama. No one ever complained about the program, no one ever complained about the material. It makes me believe the library advisory board has been doing its job, and the board of directors have been doing its job, and the library director was doing her job. And now we're creating problems in search. We're creating solutions in search of a problem. It's just moving the goalposts, it's constructing straw men, lying about intentions, and now we're being isolated.
Thank you for your comments.
It's an abusive relationship between us and the commissioners. I'm out.
All right, any other visitors' remarks concerning the agenda?
Everything that's already been said, with all due respect. I would like to request that this decision be reconsidered in light of the proposed transition to a standalone nonprofit. I was encouraged to apply and then included on the board, and I consider it an honor. And part of it was because of my experience with creating and moving government agencies to not be dependent on government, to become 501c3s or whichever 509A2. In this case, it would probably be a 509A2. And I feel that with the intent to continue that transition work, we've done everything we can. We were not, in truth, we were not happy about the budget cuts. I don't see how anybody can be happy about a budget cut anywhere, but we did accept it and are trying to work within the constraints of that and to make the best possible. The people that are remaining on the library board and replacement of 1 to 3 members at this point, I feel would be, to remove them would be a disservice to the community and to the county government indeed, because I've heard several times that the commissioners are very much in favor of volunteers and very respectful and very thankful, and have publicly stated so many times for volunteers to take on jobs that are otherwise would not be done. So with that in mind, I would ask that it be reconsidered.
Thank you. Any other comments regarding the agenda? All right, moving on, unfinished business. We will open the bids for Bridge 15 project replacement.
You guys are from Larson?
You're from Larson?
Yeah, you do a good job with our bridges.
We appreciate the opportunity to work with the county.
And this is a bittersweet situation because the bridge that's being replaced is a historic, it's of historic significance, quite frankly, but we understand why it has to be replaced.
Stone bridge.
It's a laid up stone bridge, yeah.
Beautiful, yeah.
Probably was done back in the CCC days, I'm guessing.
1910.
What's that?
Even before the
1910,
CCC,
it was
yeah.
before CCC.
Keeps getting hit though.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's weakening dramatically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Our first bid is from Ryland Construction for $929,887.40.
Where are they out of?
Ryland.
Ryland,
Oh, Pennsylvania?
That's the name of it.
they're out of Mount Wolf, Pennsylvania.
And what was the amount?
929 something.
929,887.40.
Thank you.
James, do you know where this bridge is at? It's
in Stevens Township?
Well, yeah, Stevens, it's right on the border of Stevens and Herrick Township.
Yeah, if you go down through Camp Town, go towards Montrose, Cold Creek comes off that.
And the second bid is from I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, Minichi, for $831,000.
831 even?
Yep.
Meineke is spelled Minichi Incorporated.
The only two bids we have?
That's the only two.
All right, motion to take those under advisement for review.
So move, or second, yeah.
All right, we have a motion, a second, to take those bids under advisement. It's a review of our engineering department, so anyway.
We'll take them back and review, make sure all the documents are
Yep.
in order, double check all the math, and then we'll provide you guys a recommendation.
Yep, all right, we thank you.
Thank you.
All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. All right, consider approving the minutes of February 27th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Moving on, new business. Consider proclaiming the week of March 16th to March 22nd, 2025 as 4-H week in Bradford County. And I believe we have Melody Wright and Lydia Shanks will read the proclamation for us.
Whereas 4-H is America's largest youth development organization, supporting nearly 6 million youth across the country, and
whereas 4-H has helped 367 youth in Bradford County to become confident, independent, resilient, and compassionate leaders as they learn by doing, and
whereas 4-H in Pennsylvania is delivered by Penn State Cooperative Extension in rural areas, small towns, and cities in all 67 counties to the Commonwealth to more than 77,000 youth ages 5 to 18.
Whereas 4-H youth in Pennsylvania are served by a network of staff members and more than 6,000 adult volunteers who engage and mentor youth in learning activities and hands-on projects in topics such as animal science, civic engagement, STEM, health, and wellness.
Whereas Pennsylvania 4-H Week showcases the incredible ways that 4-H inspires kids to achieve and highlights the remarkable 4-H youth in Bradford County who work each day to make a positive impact on those around them. And
whereas 4-H's network provides youth with opportunities for leadership development, career exploration, problem solving, friendships, community involvement, passion, and purpose.
Now, therefore, we do hereby proclaim March 16th to the 22nd, 2025 as Pennsylvania 4-H Week throughout Bradford County and encourage our citizens to acknowledge and celebrate 4-H for its valuable service and continued efforts to empower youth with a foundation of success for a lifetime.
Thank you, and we really appreciate the 4-H programs and what they do for youth throughout our county. Now, what are your projects, by the way, that...
So I served on the Pennsylvania 4-H State Council in our previous year. My main projects are leadership and communications.
And I am serving on the 2025 State Project Ambassador. My project area is health and living.
I think you guys should read every proclamation.
Yeah, did a good
job. That's terrific.
And I tell you, they say in the media and in public, baby animals, I mean, any pictures with baby animals, videos with baby animals. I've got a grandson that you have to see these pictures. I wish I could have brought him. He's adopted this little teeny pig that was born on it, and it's cute as all get out. I mean, he carries that pig around. He actually was blow drying the pig after his mother. It's like, okay.
You don't look at that pig and see bacon, I hope.
I don't know.
Okay, all right. Jeanette, we have a new executive director. Would you like to introduce yourself, your involvement with 4-H?
I am Jeanette Panan. I am the 4-H Responders Club leader. And our club promotes introducing youth to first responder roles to help face the critical shortage in Pennsylvania. And we started in 2023, and we have just met overwhelming support from the community. Fire departments are facing critical shortages, EMS departments are facing critical shortages, and our public law enforcement, they are also facing critical shortage. So we are trying to bring awareness to it, introduce youth to it, and hopefully get them interested in those careers.
Terrific. And again, she's our new executive director. One of two. So thank you. Her executive
I watched her
assistant.
put this program from
Assistant,
across the
not
hall.
director.
And I'll tell you what, if I to start a 501c or something like that, I should have went to her first before starting the defense group, because fabulous what she has done with that Responders Club.
Oh, it is.
It's amazing.
Yep.
Amazing what she's been able to come up with.
Mr. Chairman, it would be my honor to make this motion to proclaim the week of March 16th to March 22nd, 2025 as 4-H week in Bradford County.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Keep up the great work.
Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much. Consider approving a letter of support for the Endless Mountains Heritage Region for their application to DCNR for the Community Partnerships and Conservation Program.
So moved.
Second, and again, I believe this is something we do annually.
Yes.
They seek funds annually, so it's...
Yep, it's a grant program. Yep. All right, can you make a motion?
That motion.
Oh, yeah, and second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Consider approving an agreement between Bradford County and Evolve Addiction Recovery LLC for the Bradford County Treatment Court effective March 1st, 2025 through March 1st, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
My understanding, this is a new organization that we would be contracting with.
It's an additional service.
Yes, thank you.
Yep. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Consider approving Resolution 2025-03 to allocate a donation for French Asylum in the amount of $5,400, and I believe it's in addition, it's adding a boat launch, boat ramp, boat launch access from the river to French Asylum.
I make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
And I would say if anyone in the press has any further questions, they can direct them to Brooks Eldridge Martin. I believe he would be the point of contact. My understanding is they have received a significant amount of funding, I believe through DCNR, and there was another governmental entity that they received some funding through. So this is literally the last $5,400 that is needed to complete that boat launch so that it will be easier when folks are going down to the river. It helps make French Asylum more accessible for those who are traversing the waterway to be able to access that resource.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Consider approving Resolution 2025-04 to dissolve the Bradford County Library Advisory Board.
I'd like to bring up a possible Sunshine Act violation.
This is not a back and forth during the meeting.
I'm just going to state my position. The email the board received on March 11th.
You're interfering with the course of our meeting.
I'd like to make a Sunshine Act violation that you're preventing somebody from making a statement about a Sunshine Act violation.
Those are meant for before the meeting and after the meeting, not during the course of the meeting. Yes, they are.
May I just hear exactly what the alleged violation is?
It concerns the email we received from Michelle on the 11th at 1:40 p.m. and notifying of the disbandment of the board being on the agenda, and states the reasoning as the decision was made after careful consideration and review of the library's evolving needs and strategic direction. Therefore, the commissioners are admitting there was a deliberation of agency business without any public notice or input to enact a policy to eliminate the board.
All right. Thank you.
So noted.
So noted.
Let me read it.
What's
I
that?
think you need a motion in a second.
We need a motion and a second.
Okay, I'll make a motion.
I'll make the second. All right.
Whereas the Bradford County Library Advisory Board was established to provide advisory services to the Bradford County Library, and whereas the Bradford County Library Advisory Board's purpose and mission have been fulfilled, and whereas the Board of Commissioners has determined that the continued existence of the Bradford County Library Advisory Board is no longer necessary or beneficial. Now therefore be it resolved for the Bradford County Library Advisory Board is hereby dissolved, effective immediately. Be it further resolved that all records and materials pertaining to the Bradford County Library Advisory Board shall be transferred to Bradford County for safekeeping. Be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately upon its adoption, adopted this 13th day of March 2025.
All right, we have a motion, a second. Any further discussion?
Yeah. I know this week we put out an advertisement for a director position. I just personally feel, again, just my opinion, I'd like to wait to get some input from whoever the new librarian is to get some read on what they believe would be beneficial. So I think that, in my opinion, I just feel like I would like to get some insight from that individual before making a decision on this. I also, referencing the bylaws, there's a number of different things within it that it does, and perhaps there's portions of those that would be, I don't know, helpful for the librarian. So I guess I'm just saying, I think it's just, in my opinion, premature. I'd like to hear from whoever the new librarian is that we hire. And that's just my opinion.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries. Thank you. Consider approving Resolution 2025-05 to allocate a donation to the VFW Post 1568 in the amount of $3,499.
So moved.
Second.
You have a motion to second. Is there any further discussion?
They're in dire need of a commercial refrigerator, I believe. So that's what the money will go for, and I'd like to thank the Veterans of Foreign Wars for all that they have done for this nation.
And this is just being allocated pursuant to the Act 13 money. If it is adopted, it would be distributed for purposes of community development, and I think the idea is that the VFW does utilize that space for community events, and it is often used.
As I believe the 5400 French's Island was not general fund money either.
Correct.
No.
That was, thank you for that clarification, because I believe that
Act 13 Parks money.
that was improvement of parks and recreation, correct, which is a separate utilization of Act 13 money.
All right, we have a motion to second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Consider approving an agreement with the Probation Officers Teamsters Local Union 118 effective January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2028.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion to second. Any further discussion?
Yep, just for the record, so this is something that every once in a while we have to do. We have two unions within the county. One is for our correctional officers, and one is for our probation officers. And so it expired at the end of last year. Obviously, they continued on, and I know there's been a lot of hard work that has been put in on behalf of the probation, as well as hard work that's been put in by our Human Resources and Labor Council. And so, the details of this certainly can be made available to the press who may have it. I believe Sheena Barnes would have some information on that. But my understanding is this is something that took months to get to. And so appreciate everybody's hard work on that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Consider approving the agreement between Bradford County Housing Program and the Main Link for fair fiscal year 2022-2023 funding effective March 1st, 2025 until all funds have been exhausted.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Consider approving the transfer of Matthew Pohl from Drug and Alcohol Casework Manager to Mental Health Caseworker 2 per the recommendation of Mame Carter, Human Services Director, effective March 24th, 2025.
So moved.
You have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Consider the hires and there's only one, of Rachel Perrin as full-time GIS planning analyst per recommendation of Dwayne Noggle, planning director, effective March 10th, 2025.
So moved.
Second, but I don't even think we've only ever had one of these.
That's what threw me off.
Yeah, I know. It's like, wow.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Other business. Rebecca Saylor has been appointed in response to a court order by the Court of Common Pleas from the position of Custodian 1 to the position of Scan File Clerk for the Court of Common Pleas in the Office of Domestic Relations, effective March 17th, 2025. Elizabeth Hausneck has been appointed in response to a court order by the Court of Common Pleas to the position of Administrative Assistant 1 for the Court of Common Pleas in the Office of Court Administration, effective March 17th, 2025. And an executive session was held on March 10th, 2025 from 10:30 a.m. to 10:54 a.m. to discuss terms and conditions of employment.
And that is for current employees, just to clarify. Right. And then additionally, there was this morning an executive session held on March 13th from 9:15 until 9:49 to receive legal advice on agenda items, public participation policy.
All right, moving on. Salary Board, there's no unfinished business, new business.
Make a Sunshine Act violation notice that no public comment was given for the Salary Board.
That is duly noted. All right, there's no unfinished business, new business, setting the salaries and grades from Matthew Pohl down through and including Elizabeth Hausneck. We have Matt Allen, our treasurer, here as a member of the Salary Board.
I'll make that motion for the agenda. I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Matt. Moving on, Election Board. There is no unfinished business, new business.
I'd like to make a Sunshine Act violation notice that no public comment was given for the Election Board.
So noted. New business. Consider authorizing the chief clerk to legally advertise the casting of lots to determine ballot position for the general or municipal primary election.
So moved.
Second, and I would also thank everybody who took the time to circulate a petition to run for different offices. It's not easy. We understand that. And just thank you to everybody who did that for giving some choices to the people in their respective municipalities.
Point of clarification, Mr. Chairman. All of this is part of the agenda, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So you asked for visitors' remarks concerning the agenda, so that would include the entire agenda, would it not?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just thank you.
Call the question.
All right, we have a motion to say. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, visitors' remarks. Cynthia Brown.
Well, mine was about Leah Tilson there on the agenda. Did you even ask her about the library codes concerning the board?
Who's Leah
On the
Chisholm?
Bradford County.
Leah Chisholm, she
I
said.
thought she said Chisholm.
We consulted our solicitor. All right, Hugh Austin.
Yeah, I'm disappointed to see the commissioners have taken yet another step in gutting the Bradford County Library. What began with their secret meeting in August of 2023 is now reaching fruition. The BCL board has tried to work with the commissioners. All last year, we waited for guidance that was promised from an independent consultant. The words we kept hearing were status quo. The board requested a meeting to discuss BCL issues. Held on September 30th, we specifically requested them to define status quo. There was no response. When they slashed the budget in October, the term status quo became meaningless and then reinforced by the subsequent firing of acting director Rebecca Troop Hodgson. Still, the board was prepared to move forward under the new conditions. There was supposedly a long-term plan to change the operating structure of the library, and several board members were brought on to be a part of the change and provide information and advice when needed. Now the commissioners say they have reviewed the library's evolving needs and strategic direction. Will they define those new evolving needs and strategic direction, or are they just empty words to justify their decision? One commissioner has openly voiced support for closing the BCL and repurposing it. We can only assume it will be in his image. How much will be lost? How much will be censored? It's an open question and one the commissioners have yet to answer. Will they form another advisory committee of puppets meant to support their guidance? I would not be surprised. And now the elimination of the BCL board will allow more darkness to fall on Bradford County governance.
All right, Matt Jennings left. Jeff Gonzalez.
Thank you. Some people may or may not recognize that there's a crisis in volunteerism at every level in our county. We're not unique. It's in every county in the state, maybe in the country. Part of it, in fact, the largest contributor of it, you may or may not realize, is companies that employ people with swing schedules. The swing schedules are responsible for volunteerism at almost virtually every community volunteer organization. I'm including sports, I'm including Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts. All of those organizations are having trouble recruiting leaders and volunteers. When you work a swing shift, need not apply. What I'm asking the commissioners to do is use your bully pulpit to discourage companies. We should recognize that those very same swing schedules increase divorce rates, increase domestic violence, and make our community a lousier place to live. It does save them some money because it shifts overtime pay and stuff like that. However, it is proven that accidents go up. It's not really saving money. But if you could use your bully pulpits to have a lot of the major employers to get back to standard shift schedules so people know their schedule and they can once again volunteer, you would see sports organizations, service organizations, maybe even fire companies be able to depend on volunteers and obtain volunteers. Our county has been in decline for a long time. Part of it is that. I know you have no direct authority, but they come to you. I remember DuPont came for a Keystone Opportunity Grant support. Sylvania's come to you. Now it's GTP in the past.
All right, thank you.
Please.
So to
Thank
that,
you.
we just revised our first responder policy, Michelle. So maybe Mr. Gonzalez could get a copy of that when we get it completed. Your remarks, Julie.
We have a real problem in our county.
Mm-hmm. No, there's no, volunteerism is a really tough issue. It really is.
As an employer, I
Yep.
always let our first responders go, and it's no different, it will be no different here.
No, thank you. All right, Margaret?
I can only restate that I am very disappointed in the majority vote that you dissolved the library board of volunteers that were trying to work with something that, the pictures, please. The pictures, James. I'm sorry, I can't have my picture. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you've made that choice. I feel that it's in contradiction to what you've stated in the past, and again, it's a disappointment, and I think it's a bitter blow that feels retaliatory.
Walter?
Before my time, I think there was a Sunshine Act violation. You said you spoke with your solicitor about this agenda item, but there's no executive session mentioned related to this. I see one for discussing, I guess I don't have video, discussing terms and conditions of employment, but that wouldn't really be for the full board, would it? So is that about this, or was there another executive session? You know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry, I apologize, I'm not following.
So it was just mentioned that there was an executive session to discuss the library dissolving. Did you guys mention that executive session to us? You spoke with your solicitor about dissolving the library board, correct?
Yes.
Did you mention that to us?
We just did. It was part of this morning's meeting, the executive session this morning.
Okay, that's what so you spoke with your solicitor after you had made this can be part of my time. You spoke with your solicitor after you had already made the decision.
There was no decision made till we did it just now.
Somebody made the decision to add this to the agenda. It doesn't have to be all of you, but somebody had made the decision to add this to the agenda, to write this up.
It was me.
And it was done before you had spoken to a solicitor. So you came to a conclusion of what you wanted, then you talked to your attorney, and your attorney told you what you wanted to hear, is what I'm hearing from this. And it's ridiculous because I think this happens often. You make a decision about what you're going to do. You probably talk about it privately. I mean, the emails, the job listing, everything makes it sound like you guys had talked about what you were going to do, unless you run the entire county and they just do what you tell them to do. Not always. But then you talk to your solicitor, and your solicitor says, yeah, that sounds fine. I love my $74,000 a year. I'll make sure I say whatever you want to hear. Which is why you come up with a policy about speaking that is absolutely ridiculous and stupid. It's moronic. And it is constantly like this. You make no effort to inform the public. You make no effort to do things by state law. Did your solicitor say anything about the library code? About whether or not it was actually legal or illegal to dissolve this board?
Yes, the solicitor did.
So he went through the library code and looked. Can he provide a statement to the public about why it's legal to dissolve this board?
Yes.
And
right.
you will direct him to do that, correct?
We will address this, yes.
Okay. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I asked about a letter that was sent out to somebody, and you said you would...
Has the time expired yet?
You said you would tell us about how that letter was sent to the person. Will you be doing that?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
So,
all right. Go ahead. Your time has expired. Thank you.
Yes, I know. Go ahead.
All right. James?
I was wondering what your plans are for the Bradford County Library. You've not gone out for to get a library consultant after, I think it was a number of months ago that.
And we got no responses other than one that came in too late.
So if you did have one that came in but too late, then.
We have not discussed what the next steps are as of right now, James.
Regarding the library at all, what
No.
the future is?
Other than, obviously, it's continued. We put out for a librarian.
Right.
That's what our next step is.
Okay. Thanks.
Is that it, James?
Yes.
Phil?
Yeah, just a couple of quick questions. When was the library board first created, if you recall?
I couldn't even begin to tell you. Decades ago, I can tell you.
Well, it was created to be the systems board.
Well, it was all in one. It was
Yeah.
it was a systems board, but it was separated, I believe, in 2008 or 2009.
Yeah, Mark Smith worked on it, separated it out, so it became an advisory board, and then the systems board became a freestanding board.
Okay. What was the difference between the original board and the advisory board, if there was any?
It was more of a governing board back then, where they actually managed the budget, they managed the operation, so on and so forth.
And then an advisory board is just that, and then the commissioners are the governing board of the library.
Okay, so the advisory board, they didn't make any decisions, they just offered recommendations? Or?
Well, wasn't it a key point when they were trying to decide where to site the library and design the library, back when Marilyn Bach, Ed Bach took it on? Marilyn Bach was on the commissioners.
I can't speak to the history we can provide you with a copy of the most recent bylaws, which I believe were revised and adopted on April 7th, 2011. And in that, it provides the purpose and the role and everything. So we're happy to provide that to you. So you can have some clarity. And James, if you would like a copy as well.
And when was the Bradford County Library considered a department of the county?
Boy, that I couldn't begin to tell you. We've been trying to do some research, but we haven't come up with.
Started in, I believe, a chicken coop behind the...
It was behind the manor.
Yeah, it was very rough when it got started. So the county owned the manor then, so I guess you'd have to go all the way back to the origins.
1987, the grant was applied for in 1987, and construction began in 1988.
That's for the
current library.
But
for the current building.
Those of us who might have some gray in our hair can remember when it was in the Volkswagen garage as well.
And I'm also, I also have gray in my hair, and I remember the back of the manor being the location.
Do you remember that?
I'm curious, let's see. Do other county departments have boards or advisory boards by any chance?
Human Services, they've got advisory boards.
Advisory board, yes. Human Services.
Okay. I was going to say, let's see. And why else is also the board's not holding their meeting today? Because it's dissolved?
It's dissolved as of right now.
Okay.
It has to be signed first, right?
The
We were
resolution.
told that in the email received on Tuesday that the library board had been dissolved in an email received on Tuesday that the board had been dissolved immediately.
I would respectfully disagree with the characterization only insofar as this. I believe there's a reference to the decision or this decision in the second paragraph of that email, to the one to which you refer. I believe it was Ms. Shedden's intent for that to refer to the decision to list it on the agenda. So as opposed to a decision on the substance of the agenda item.
Which is a beautiful thing that should be used carefully with respect.
Again, you're entitled to that, but that's my understanding of what the intent of that email was.
James.
Yeah, I disagree. I don't think that's true. I think I've read the email, and I think if you put it in context, right after she says the decision was made, then she explains why it was made, which was that the library basically that the Bradford County Library Board is no longer needed as.
Well, James, I can only speak, but it's my understanding that there was no decision made prior to this time. And I can only share that this is why we put things on the agenda. As you saw today, there was some discussion, and ultimately a determination was made. It didn't obviously fall the way I wanted, but that's the way this works. So.
Okay. Commissioners' remarks?
I have some press questions.
You're not a member of the press, sir.
Okay, I have a couple, if I could, too. So first of all, on April 22nd, we'll be hosting Governor Corbett up at the Comm Center. Governor Corbett was the one that ushered in the impact fee money. The interesting part was that, just to give you a little bit of history, Daryl and I opposed it back then, and for various reasons, I think...
Only two in the entire state of Pennsylvania.
In the state, because we didn't understand tax and prosperity. However, since then, we've seen things like post-production costs that kind of maybe predicted would happen. But at any rate, we went, just to refresh your memory, we used to have huge town hall meetings back at the beginning of natural gas. And we asked all communities to do, all municipalities to do a letter of intent. You know, how they intended to vote, because remember, it had to be, whether to accept it or not, it had to be 50% of the population plus one to accept or not accept. So we came together as a county and we sent it out to all municipalities as a county. We decided that we would accept it, and Daryl and I had agreed to do it. I've been a fan of Governor Corbett, to be honest with you, since he was Attorney General. I met him when he was running. I like Governor Corbett a lot. But what we're going to do is we're going to kind of give him a history. And I think he was the right person to be governor at the time to usher in Marcellus Shale through the drilling and the large part of it, setting it up. I know Governor Rendell, I believe, supported it as well, but I think Governor Corbett was the right man for the job at the time for that. So we're going to put on kind of a little bit of a program that's going to be just to show him what that money's gone through, because we're pretty proud of how we spent those funds, saved those funds, and especially in the building that it'll be in. So that's April 22nd, just a FYI for the press, that you guys can be there. It'll be kind of fun. And then any township supervisors or municipal officials that we'd love to have you there, or firemen, seeing as how the millions of dollars that we've given to our first responders. Jeff, to your point, that we've not only given money to the fire so they can maybe have a couple of weekends off from raising money, but also we've hired a trainer to help keep done through Act 13 to help train these people so they don't have to travel, to Philadelphia. We also funded to our fire association, a burn building. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's up by the career center. So we try to do so much to ease the burden of our first responders, to try to get volunteerisms in that field. Giving money, I think, CJ, for law enforcement, for computer systems. So we're going to do all of that to try to show the governor that, what he created that many years ago, what it's meant to our county. Number two, there's been a lot of accusations thrown at the Foster law firm. Yes, there are contracted solicitors. Every county has one. They are also an independent business. And I will tell you, they've been here for 35 years. They've represented many municipalities, and they are outstanding. They've done, I think, that through all the years that we've been here, even down to Michelle, that they would walk through fire for this county, molten lava. And to degrade their name or to call them names is a terrible, terrible thing, especially for an independent. It's one thing to call us names. It's a whole nother thing to call people with a business names. And I would just like to tell the public and the press that they've done an outstanding job here over the years, and they're very notable, and they would wade through broken glass and molten lava to defend this county. And they do. They are our legal representation. They are not a rubber stamp. So just take that away from them. They keep us straight, they keep us square, they keep us legal, whether it's what we want to hear, what we don't want to hear. They're a very, very reputable law firm, and they've been very well degraded in these meetings the last couple of weeks. I just want the press and the public to know that. I've dealt with them for since I've gotten here. So that's all I have, sir.
Well, let me just take off from that, and I'm going to tell you, I've sat through these meetings for the last number of months, and calling us names is fine. That's that's fine. I challenge anybody that's without fault or flaw, throw the first rocks, have at it. That's what we're here for. We're here to listen to the public. We're here to do the public's business. But I can tell you, to the person, we do the public's business in a respectful manner. We don't call people names. We don't challenge people's intelligence. We do it in a respectful manner, and have been. And to call our solicitor, I will tell you right now, we don't hire solicitors because of what we want to hear. We hire solicitors to tell us what we have to hear. I don't want an attorney telling me what I want to hear. I want an attorney to tell me what I have to hear. That's what we're here for. We may not always agree on stuff, and that's fine. That's what we're elected to do. But being disrespectful because we don't agree, that's beyond the pale to me. I mean, that's what happens in places you watch it on YouTube. That disgusts me. We can have a respectful discussion. We can have a respectful disagreement without being disrespectful. And that's not what's happening here. And I'm sorry that this has gotten to this point. I really am. It doesn't need to be, it shouldn't be, to call people names and to question their intelligence, their integrity, and their behavior is, to me, it's uncalled for. But you know what? That's what we're here for. You want to call me names all day long. I didn't come here because I needed new friends or I needed new I'm fine. I came here to serve the public. And that's what these people come here for.
So
to serve the public.
Not to interrupt you, but to your point, I live by the most important people that you want to hear what you better hear, and not what you want to hear, is your pastor, your accountant, and your lawyer. And that's the way we've done it here. But I'll tell you what is not okay to me, is to bring in integrity in this undertone that there's some kind of corruption and nefarious stuff going on. For that to happen in this building, all four of these people would have to agree. That man right there would he's our sheriff and a friend. He would no more let anything happen that's wrong than the man on the moon, as well as our CFO. You're throwing a blanket over so many people that would have to have some kind of thing going on to let this happen, what we're accused of. And I personally don't think it's okay. Calling a name, calling me dumb or whatever, that's fine. I go through that all the time. But when you're making an accusation of corruption, you really are making an accusation of more than just a board of commissioners. There's a lot of people who would have to be corrupt to make that happen. And I personally, makes me furious. But okay, Zachary.
Yep.
I have some prepared remarks. I'll just say, obviously, people can make whatever comments they want. It's a forum of ideas, and it's a form of expression. And one's silence, one's reference in response shouldn't be taken one way or the other. Individuals are free to form their own opinions, do their own research, and come to their own conclusions. And so hopefully that will continue. Mr. Chairman, today marks the 32nd anniversary of the storm of the century. Many of you may remember the blizzard of 1993.
Really? I don't.
Yeah, March 13th.
When approximately 2 feet or more of snow, 3 feet probably, fell across Bradford County. I myself remember playing so much in the snowdrifts and the banks in the days following the storm to a point where my body absolutely ached from trudging through snow, and at one point I felt snowblind. Today also marks the 5th anniversary of President Trump's declaration of a national emergency concerning the COVID-19 virus, the same day that then Governor Wolf shut down public schools across Pennsylvania. I'm sure all of you won't forget where you were on March 13th, 2020. I know I won't, because it was my 40th birthday. Over the ensuing 5 years, we've seen neighbors die from COVID-related complications. We've watched businesses suffer from limits, prohibitions, and disrupted supply chains. We've watched as friends and family endure long COVID symptoms like chronic fatigue or a cough they can't seem to shake, and persistent yet unpredictable problems from attention. We fought over mask mandates, vaccinations, social distancing, quarantine periods, and who can forget the red, yellow, green stoplight of phased reopenings. I could focus on the bad things that COVID left with me, but today on my 45th birthday, I'm choosing to focus on the positives that the last 5 years and 2 bouts of COVID have given me. When we begin each meeting with a moment of silent prayer, I ask the Lord for the same 3 things that I've asked for every day since I was a greasy-haired kid in hand-me-down clothes at Troy High. For peace, for grace, for clarity of thought. Clarity isn't as easy to come by as it used to be. Some days, I feel that same scary, staggering fatigue and blindness that I did as a child. Relying on my instincts to get back to the house I couldn't see. Thanks to COVID, I must admit that the words don't flow off the tip of my tongue as nimbly as they did just 5 years ago. And so I strive to be more judicious with my speech. The names of friends and acquaintances I absolutely know sometimes hesitate in the shadows of my mind. Before slowly emerging into focus. And so I spend more time listening and leading with gentleness. In so many areas of my life, I must be so scrupulously precise, so damnably deliberate. And between diminishing flashes of brilliance, I now rely more on my cutter and my knuckleball than the directness of a four-seam fastball, painting the corners instead of attacking the heart of the strike zone. I suppose I would rather be Mariano Rivera or Tim Wakefield than Roger Clemens. But I count my blessings. I hug my kids often. I kiss my wife more. So when they're old and I'm gone, I can rest assured knowing that they will have enough to last them. I take time for self-care and fun in a way that I never did before, so that Edgar Lee Masters, as he once wrote, I may one day die while living. When I find myself asked to dance on the head of a pin for another's amusement, when I'm demanded to strain out a gnat while swallowing a camel, or when, as Kipling remarked, I watch the truth I've spoken twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, I force myself to feel the absolute gift of breath in my lungs. I read more. I try to say I'm sorry more, yet probably still not enough. I strive not to let perfection be the enemy of good. And so with that clarity of thought, I return back to considering the last 5 COVID years. I ponder the kindness and mercy and patience shown to me. The calluses and the bruises and the bites incurred from a life lived in public. The tender moments, bent down to greet a fellow county resident in a wheelchair, or holding the hand of a hurting stranger that will never be reported and never should. I am so thankful for the gift of this life that I have in Bradford County, and for each of you, for what you've given me and what you've taught me. For all the residents of Bradford County on this 5th anniversary of COVID-19, I hope today it will be one of reflection about those people and practices we've lost, but also about the things we've gained, the insight we have been afforded, and for which I truly hope we can all be grateful. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
We're adjourned. Thank you.